Greetings and salutations, one and all kind of things happening in the studio here tonight. Boy, I can't tell you what it is. But you know what? Too blessed to be stressed. How you doing each and everyone? Welcome to the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Healthy Love Night right here. On the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Kicking it off with a little Tushi. It's called Best Life. Wanna say greetings and salutations to each and every one of you locked in right now. Yeah man, one life we have, you know. Better live it up to the most. And live it up to the best you can. I'm living my best life. What kind of life you living? I live my best. Even right now at the beginning of 2021. Best life, I say, yeah? Greetings to those who are locked in on Facebook Live. Those on TuneIn Radio, the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew, big ups to you. Those locked in on One Harmony Radio from across the pond. It's kind of chilly in South Florida, you know? Things not working the way it's supposed to. Anything below 75 degrees in South Florida, chilly. So me, I'm on a jacket in the studio. Might take it off in a little bit, but I'm wearing it right now. I'm here to enjoy myself. One life off, so I'm going on. But I know the UK is much cooler than it is in here in South Florida. So all those on One Harmony Radio, I hope you're staying warm. Big ups to those on WGLRO, home of the Don and Walker Morning Show. Taking it from the sheets to the streets, from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Blessings to you guys on the People Station. Those on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Greetings to you. Want to say big ups to those on Island worldwide. Remember, you can catch Gary Sutherland every Tuesday evening, just before me, 8 to 10. Blessings, China. I have no apology for the way I was getting on. Once I have the energy, nothing could ever hold me down. Big ups to the PEMG TV crew. No kind of bad vibes around. Much love to you. So glad you were. And of course, those who are locked in on the home of the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. And I hear in my favorite soul. Glad to have each and every one of you.
I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life.
I couldn't do it without you, and you have my word, I wouldn't even try.
Celebrating life, living dance for life.
Inviting you all to jump into the stew pot.
No debating. Once we all
Those of you wondering what the stew pot is, others call it a chat room, but because we're fancy over here,
look and stand up, bring.
it's the stew pot. Let's go to kevinstew.com and boom, you're there. You don't have to sign up for anything, you don't have to register for anything. You can remain anonymous if you want. You can change your name.
My favorite soul. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life.
Tonight we're trying to kick off 2021 with making sure that we're living our best lives. Those of you who are locked in on Facebook Live, don't get too comfortable.
No debating. Once we all got that, we go hold on.
Remember, this is only a segment, so use the link in the description. Go to kevinstew.com and get comfortable. Call a friend, tell a friend, call an enemy.
That's how it is just
Call the enemy of your friends and the friends of your enemies.
life. That's how it is just life. I live in my best life.
It's healthy love.
Living my best life.
And kicking off healthy love for 2021,
I live in my best life.
I have someone with me who, for over 20 years, has been a registered nurse and more recently became a published author. And that's not why she is a resource to me. She's a resource to me because she has experience. However, I suggest you all read that book. If you haven't read it yet, if you haven't gotten your copy yet, you're going to find out where to get it. You can Google her if you want. Her name is Marva Riley. Welcome, Marva.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy, healthy, and prosperous 2021.
Oh, definitely. Definitely going for healthy. Definitely going for healthy. You know, with all that is going on right now, you can't help but go for healthy. And for those of you who don't know, this little red book here, y'all need to get it. If you don't get it, if you haven't gotten it yet, go get it. Order it now. All right? Because this little red book is a mighty resource for good, healthy life. As simple and as small as you see it there, it is quite the resource. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to call upon the author of this book, who has a lot more information than is in this book. And what better way to kick off 2021 than tips on how to remain healthy? Because, you know, we want to get to the end of 2021 bouncing and laughing and kicking it with our friends and family. So the way to do that is to at least start off with the thought of being healthy. I see 644 in the stew pot already being busy. I guess 644 is quite the advocate and the believer in eat, sleep, meditate, and Marva Riley. I see the website in the stew pot. rnmarvariley.com, and you can go to Amazon and find the book. So yeah, I don't think you need to do much more after that. I just hope you're paying your PR person very well, because this seems to be your PR person.
Thank you, PR person.
All right, I kind of warm up here in the studio now. Let me take off this jacket. I might need to put it back on a little bit later on. It's kind of chilly down here in South Florida, you know.
It's
So
chilly everywhere.
yeah, apparently.
Mhm.
But I saw a forecast that says that across the United States this January, this winter season, it will be pretty warm in comparison to other years. So I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or was it just South Florida? No, I think it was just South Florida that was warm. Everywhere else was going to be cold. My bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was it. So how
Mhm.
are you, Marva?
I am doing amazing. Today has been a great day for me. I kicked off the day on a fast,
Oh,
and I feel really, really good.
uh, th- how well do those work? Cause you sound real energetic right now for somebody that's been fasting all day. As far as I know, with me, I stay hungry for half an hour and things just start going weird.
Again, this is like most things, fasting takes a little bit of practice, but I've actually been fasting since yesterday at 5 p.m.
Oh,
at my last meal, and I've had just had liquids today,
okay.
and I feel pretty good. I mean, I don't feel hungry. I have a slight headache, which is usually an indication that my body is detoxing, but I
Oh,
feel good. Hmm.
typically people get a headache. It's a sign that they're not well. So how do you recognize that it is something positive that is happening that is triggering a headache?
Well, I have done some quite a bit of research on fasting,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the side effects, if you will, of fasting is headache. And it could be one of two things happening why one has headaches during fasting. You're either not drinking enough water or you're detoxing.
Okay.
For example, I'm probably detoxing from cake because I haven't had a Jamaican Christmas cake
Mm.
in multiple years. And I ordered one this Christmas and I ate quite a bit of it. And I'm not used to eating that much sugar and that kind of stuff. So I think my body might be detoxing from that.
You know, this Christmas has been the first one that I went pretty much cake free. Not by choice. And just today, I got a piece of cake. Just today. And I took it home. I cut off a sliver and tasted it. And I was like, ah, yes, yes. This is it right here. This is my Christmas present. And I don't know if anybody else in my house think that they're getting any. But I'm going to find somewhere to hide it. Just don't tell anybody. I'm hiding this cake.
I love Christmas cake, which is one of the reasons why I stopped ordering or making it several years now.
Mm,
Because if it's in my house, it's not gonna last very long. And you see, sugar is very addictive, and there's
right.
quite a bit of sugar in the Christmas cake. So that's one of the reasons why we're so drawn to it, and we just can't have one little slice.
And it's kind of funny. This one doesn't taste that sweet. Um, and it actually doesn't have that much rum either.
Mhm.
So it just seems it's just a nice balanced cake. I don't know how it is that the maker of this cake did it this way, but I think I'm gonna have to get in touch with them some way somehow, and we have a conversation.
Well, you might be their PR person right now,
Well, we'll see after I meet them. I'm yet to meet the person that made it. So,
huh? Yeah.
but so detoxing from cake for you, and you're one of the ways that you were doing it was fasting today. So now you have a little bit of a headache, and you're fine with that because that's a good thing.
Yes, yeah. Well, you deal with it. If I was not on the Kevin Stew show, I
Hmm.
would be sleeping, and I probably would not be even be aware of that headache.
Me too.
But I tell you something too. If you're a coffee drinker or any kind of a caffeine drinker,
Hmm.
if you if you don't have, like, my mom is a coffee drinker, and
Okay.
if she does not have her cup of coffee in the morning, she gets splitting headaches. It's the body going through a kind of a withdrawal, aka detox. That's why that headache.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
That makes sense. I've never looked at it that way. Going through withdrawal, yes, I get that. But withdrawal being detoxing, although it makes sense, I never thought about it that way. Um, you think my Christmas cake could do with some more adult beverage? Okay, so 644 is a PR person and and an alcoholic. No, not fast as in the Jamaican term fast being inquisitive. She's fasting. There's a difference.
Mhm.
These people here in this stew pot, boy. So, all right. So after you fast so your fast was what? A 24-hour fast.
Actually, stopped eating at 5 p.m. yesterday,
Yes.
and I intended to break the fast after 25 hours, but I felt good except for a mild headache and also a little bit of nasal congestion, which is all part of the detox process.
Mm.
But and because I felt good, I really wasn't feeling hungry. I thought I would just continue into tomorrow and see how that goes.
So
Um,
how does the nasal congestion play a role in the detox?
it's your body trying to get rid of. Okay, so even, like, for example, if we have a cold or some kind of a respiratory thing,
Right.
and we get congested, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's our body trying to get rid of that which the body doesn't like. We might have too much of. It's part of the detox process. You get diarrhea, you sweat. The sweat might even smell foul.
Mm.
That's part of our body trying to get rid of this toxins or poisons or the things that it doesn't like from the body. And congestion and headache is one of the are two things that the body will that we will experience as part of the detox process.
So why then do we take things to get rid of these conditions? We have a headache. We're going to take some painkiller. We congested. We're gonna take a decongestant. Um. So
Because, mhm.
if we're fasting and these things happen, naturally are conditioned the way we are conditioned, we're going to head to the medicine cabinet to get something to address those symptoms. And we're
Yeah.
gonna immediately think that we're coming down with something because in the case of fasting, we haven't been nourishing our bodies.
Well, we would reach for a pill or we reach for a decongestant if we do not know what is going on. And that is why it is very important for us to educate ourselves and to educate ourselves essentially about our health. Because if we understand our body, if we understand why things are happening, then we won't be alarmed, right? That is
Okay.
one of the reasons why I wrote my book, because I realized that a lot of the health issues that we have are because we do not understand. It's because of ignorance. We don't know. And I can't say that all of what I'm discussing with you, that I always knew these things. I too was into popping an ibuprofen if I had a headache,
Right.
or if I was congested, I thought I was getting sick. But as you study, as you know, because I know you are a scholar, Kevin, as you study, as you research, as you read, as you listen, because there's so much information out there,
Yes.
then, and I too like the research, because it's good to back up whatever you have to say. You never know everything,
That's true.
but it's good to back up what you, especially now that we live in a research-based society, it's good to have a little bit of a knowledge. So if you are going to fast, for example, and you do a little bit of research, doesn't
Right.
have to be hours, then you will realize that some of the things that happen, like a diarrhea while you're fasting, is a good thing. That smell that's coming from your body while you're fasting is a good thing. Sometimes that foul smell coming from your mouth is a good thing. The headache, the nasal congestion, these are all the body's way of getting rid of toxins that are in our body that make us not so healthy.
So these things that we typically consider to be negative aren't always negative.
Correct.
But because we don't know, we just automatically go to the negative.
Exactly.
So
And that's probably everything or most things in our life experience, because what they say, knowledge is power, right?
right.
So if we know, like for example, there are some people that I know of who, as soon as they have a headache, they think that they have brain cancer.
Oh no.
As soon as their stomach hurt, they think it's cancer. Whatever is happening, they think the worst. But if they knew, if they had a little bit of an idea that whatever they're experiencing is normal, is not an indication of cancer, then they wouldn't freak out the way they do. So knowledge is power. There have been documented case about people that are sick or think they're sick, and their doctors give them a diagnosis and tell them that they're not going to live beyond 6 months. And they believe it without doing any research, without questioning anything, and they're dead. Okay? Now, had they done a little bit of research, done a little asking around, done a little questioning, and understood what was going on with their body a little better, then they probably would understand and not accept a doctor's diagnosis of death.
But why would they go ahead and ask any other questions? The doctor is the one that did 7 years of medical school and continues learning, because what they do is a practice. So they're constantly learning. So they should be educated enough to be able to tell us what is happening. So why shouldn't we listen? Why shouldn't we believe that?
Okay, so my dad is 80, will be 89 next month. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was out there and he looked outside and he said, it may or may not rain. What do you think? And I said, Uncle Donald, I call him Uncle Donald, he's my adopted dad. I said, Uncle Donald, the meteorologist predicts that it's going to rain today, like 60% chance of rain.
Okay.
And he said, them I know God.
Okay.
That means he didn't buy that. Okay.
Right.
They might say that, but that's no guarantee. Well, I'll say doctors are not gods. They're practicing. They go and they study something. Okay. And they are taught specifics in schools, and for the most part, they do not sway to the left or to the right, up or down. They stick with it. Now, you and I are our best doctor.
Yes.
In fact, I have a Facebook health group called The Doctor in You. You have the power within. You know you're better. You should know your body better than anybody.
Right.
If you are in tune with your body, you will know that that headache you're having is like no other headache. If you're in tune with your body, you'll be able to pick up subtle symptoms. Okay, and you'll be able to tell whether or not that doctor's diagnosis of death makes any sense or not. But we so rely on the healthcare system, we so rely on the hospitals, we so rely on doctors to make us well and to tell us how we're supposed to feel and tell us this and tell us that. We don't question anything anymore. And we
Right.
should.
So
We should question because, in fact, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Doctors are great people. Okay. And because as I talk to more and more patients or people, I'm realizing that there are many doctors that are genuinely trying to instruct their patients to walk or eat healthy or do this or do that to be healthier. So there's some great doctors out there that genuinely have our interests at heart, but they're not the majority. It is a profession that people go into to make money and for status, etc.
True.
Okay, and I'm not saying every doctor now. I'm saying it is common that they go into this profession to make money and the insurance companies push them. Okay, doctors no longer have the option of spending half an hour with you. They get 5 minutes or less to spend with you. So you better go in there in his or her office armed with your questions and somewhat knowledgeable about what is going on with your situation. You're your best doctor.
So I guess one could argue then that unless it is extreme, you don't need a doctor.
Well, I would never say that because that is not necessarily my position because doctors and hospitals and the health industry do serve a purpose.
Right.
To break your knee, you need to see a physician. If you're having a heart attack, that's an urgent situation. But personally, I don't run to a doctor. I used to be that way, okay, until I was awakened, as my son would tell me. He said, you got to get with it until you woke. Okay? Until I woke, I used to run to a doctor for the least sniffle.
Right.
Every little thing I would run to a doctor. That's how I was trained. That's not how I was brought up. Because I was brought up in a culture where you would use herbal remedies. And if you had a headache, you would put some heat on it, on the head, instead of taking Tylenol. First of all, we didn't even have the money to buy Panadol. So if you had a headache, you would put a heat on your head. Or you go sleep or something until you would sleep it off, as they would say. But nowadays, we run to the doctor. We start demanding antibiotics from our doctors. Or children get a cold, we want antibiotic for the child. You know, and the drug industry teach you through commercial that you should ask your doctor for these things. And many doctors, to please their patients, they prescribe things that are not necessarily best for you.
That's true. It's all about and I said this the last time that you came on. It's about big pharma doing what big pharma does because it's a business. Wherein anybody starts a business, they do it to make money. I want to quickly say for those of you guys on Facebook Live, this is where I part company with you. Please use the link in the description, kevinstew.com. Come on over for the remainder of the broadcast. We'll catch up again come tomorrow with Real Talk to close out the week. And remember, we have Tamara Brown and AJ Brown as our guests tomorrow for Real Talk. So see you guys over there on Facebook. Y'all take care. See you tomorrow. All right, so here we are, kicking off 2021. And as a registered nurse, one of your bombshells is you're your best doctor. So even when the doctor tells you X, make sure you do your research about what the doctor is telling you. In fact, before I continue with that, let me say this. Comment in the stew pot here. I've been doing intermittent fasting for the past 30 days. I usually have my last meal between 6 to 7, between 6 and 7:30 p.m. Other than water and herbal tea, my next meal is not until about anywhere between 9 and 10 a.m. the next day. I don't feel hungry at all. I have more energy even though I'm consuming less food. And
Yes.
they're going to say, this is 644, I literally have one full meal daily. My body no longer needs all the calories, unhealthy fats, unnecessary crap to clog up my system.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, I have I have used intermittent fasting on and off for a number of years now. Several years ago, when I was very, very, very sick, I was forced into a fast whereby I absolutely could not. The only thing that did not make me sick was Publix purified water. Everything else made me deathly sick. So I was forced into a fast. I rapidly lost weight. The interesting thing is that I really wasn't even weak, even though I dropped several pounds really, really rapidly.
Right.
And I remember my husband said to me that the forced fast that I was in is what was going to save my life, because I really thought I was dying. I was that sick. And he said to me, it's the best thing that has ever happened to you. I was very angry because I didn't understand what he was saying. But he was so right, because it is during fasting, the time when we're not eating, like your listener who does intermittent fasting from 6 p.m. or so until 6, 7, 8 the next morning.
Well,
It is
9,
during
10
that
the next
9,
one.
10,
Yeah.
even that, exactly. It is during that time that the body heals and repairs. During the time when we're eating, after 10 o'clock, when she eats whatever it is that she's going to consume, when the fast is broken, you start taking in nutrition to nourish the body. And then once you stop eating, after a few hours, the body goes into a fast, and that's when it heals. That's why you hear the term that the body heals while you sleep at night. Because it's not busy digesting, it's
Right.
busy healing. Now, if you ever try intermittent fasting, and I'm not suggesting that people should go try this, make sure if you have a health issue, you clear it with your physician. But I can tell you that just like your listener, I have experienced amazing healing through intermittent fasting. I'm more clear-minded, and for sure, the less you eat, like if you would do that 12-hour intermittent fasting, the next day, you're not going to eat as much. You don't even have the desire to eat as much. I too stop eating at 7. Well, usually 6:45, I'll have a handful of nuts and maybe an apple, maybe half an apple. Sometimes
Okay.
I can't even tolerate a whole apple. And I usually do not have anything until the next day. Sometimes 1 o'clock I have dinner.
Mm.
And oftentimes I'm really not even hungry, which is what happened today. I hadn't eaten anything in 25 hours, but I still wasn't hungry.
You know, all time people would say gas full you up. You don't feel hungry because gas full you up.
I don't burp, I don't belch, and I'm not gassy. I drink when I'm fasting. I don't drink cold water anyway, because cold water is really not good for our body. Our body fluid is not cold.
Right.
So just like when you drink an ice cold drink and it numbs your forehead,
Mm-hmm.
well, ice cold drinking is not good for our body. Okay, it's almost puts our body in a little bit of a shock, as it were.
But
So I always, in the summertime, I drink room temperature water, and in the wintertime, I drink warm water all day. I just warm the water and drink it warm. And I never get gassy and what, the elderly people say. But the same old time people, Kevin, are the ones who would fast 2 days. I don't know if you remember that, if you grew up in church.
yeah.
But I remember my grandparents and stuff, they would fast. Sometimes they would fast a whole week. And some of them did not even drink water during their fast. And my grandfather lived to be 101 years old.
Wow.
And he had no sickness. He had a little bit of harder hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And he died of natural old age.
Oh wow.
Yes.
You don't hear of that really happening in these days. You know.
Our lifestyle has changed that. And that's what my book is about. Our lifestyle has changed that. We no longer walk.
Right.
We drive everywhere, or we take a bus or whatever. We don't walk. Hippocrates says walking is man's best medicine. Walking is very medicinal. Walking helps us to sleep better. It decreases stress level and anxiety. It helps with digestion. It prevents constipation. Walking helps your blood pressure. It helps your heart rate, helps your circulation, helps to strengthen your bone, and so many other things. So many other health benefits come from simple walking. But folks don't walk anymore.
Not unless it's fashionable. Not unless it's fashionable. It's when things are trendy that people do it. So when people get into the 10,000 steps competition, and everybody gets their devices ready for and counting their steps each day because it's a competition. So that is when walking becomes a cool thing. So unless it is trending, you don't find it happening.
True, and I find though that the trend will last for a few months.
Yeah.
For example, it's January now, so traditionally many people are thinking about New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, and which is a very good thing. But I don't go to the gym right now. My favorite exercise is walking because I don't live near a gym, and also I can't afford it at this time.
Right.
But when I used to go to the gym, from January until March, April, the gym will be so packed that you had to time it. Because certain times you go there, you're not getting on any equipment.
Right.
But as of the end of April, it will be less than half. And by June, maybe 25% of those people, all the regular gym people are the ones that you're going to see. Okay? And I'm hoping that our listeners tonight will be the exception. I'm hoping that tonight our listeners will make a decision that 2021 will be different, that 2021 will be like no other year, because the health decision that they have made for 2021, they're going to carry it through to December 31st, 2021 and beyond.
Right.
Because the thing is that, as I say in my book, healthy living is really not difficult. It's very simple lifestyle changes that we need to make on a day-to-day basis. You see, once we say, I'm going to walk 30 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week, and we say those 3 to 4 days a week will be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, for example.
Okay.
And we stick to it. And even when we mess up, we hit that reset button and start again. Then eventually that 30 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week become part of our lifestyle. And
Yes.
when you don't do it, you're going to feel guilty. You're not going to feel good in your mind and your body. And you can't wait to get back on board. It's lifestyle. If you start eating, learning, for example, to eat a salad. I didn't like salad, but when I became sick and I was desperate to be well, I learned that salads are good for me. And I learned to eat salads without pouring a whole lot of salad dressing on it. And I learned to nice up my salad. So once you learn to eat a healthy salad and it becomes part of your lifestyle, then it'll be your lifestyle forever.
Interestingly enough, I didn't used to eat salads either. And round about September, I started I quit my job, my 9 to 5, because that was stressful. And I started doing food deliveries. And because I could now make my own schedule, I would come home for lunch. And my lunch I started having salads for lunch, which was really interesting for me. Because I was never one that was really into rabbit food like that. So I started doing the salads, and now it's like, okay, so I need my salad. I even have a little cooler that I take on the road with me, and in it I have a bottle of water, I have a smoothie, and I have my salad. Now, I must admit, I do take a meat, a protein, by way of a meat, and it's usually chicken or fish. This Christmas, it has expanded to pork, curry goat, chicken. But of course, when that gets done, because that's the other thing too, we buy that portion of meat. It would get cooked, and it would be parceled out, and it ends up not just being consumed in one big bulk, but in small portions over time. But in that also, I have kind of lost out on my regular activity, which would have been going to play ball every Sunday morning. Now, with COVID coming in, I've given the ball game thing a break. Now, I have been trying to get into my personal fitness at home. Got myself a jump rope. I have some ankle weights. I'm trying to get into that, but I just haven't been able to create a routine. For me, things are routine. So I haven't been able to create that routine as at yet. But I have not left it out. What I did notice is since this Christmas season, I I had lost my tummy without the use of exercise. My tummy had gone down. Being a man in my 40s, the gut is kind of expected to be there. I'm watching it as I get back to little bit of meat, lot of, I'll just keep calling it rabbit food. And my salad is fruits and veggies. So I'm spoiled now with my salad. I'm being well taken care of with my salad. I'm very grateful that I get this salad and this smoothie. But having strayed away from it over the Christmas period, I actually notice a difference. And is it as simple as just, like you said, jumping on a little bit of a fast, whether it be intermittent or a full period, 12 to 24 hours? Would you say that that is just the way that the way to go to kind of reset?
Yes. The thing is that we really were never intended to eat as much as we eat. The thing is that our foreparents were hunters and gatherers,
Right.
and they never had McDonald's or supermarkets or stores or gas stations around the corner. They never had food at their disposal and a refrigerator and a freezer jammed with rice and whatever it is that we have in our fridge.
Right.
And we have so much available to us, and that's why we overeat. I remember when I first came to the US, and I used to work as a nurse's aide in some folks' homes, and I used to work for some wealthy women. And I would go to their house, and all they had in their refrigerator were carrot sticks and celery. I couldn't believe it. Carrot sticks and celery. And I would ask, why is it you don't, and water? And they would say to me, whatever you have in your house is what you're going to eat. If it's empty, there's nothing to eat. And that's one reason why when I go to the store, before I go into that store, I already have a shopping list. I know
Okay.
what it is I'm going to buy for dinner, for example, for snack. I mean, I don't really snack, but fruits. I know what I'm going to get.
Right. Right.
Because if you go home with that white rice, that's what's going to get cooked, and that's what's going to be eaten. That bread, that cookies, whatever. Because it's not that I don't eat these things because I don't like them. I love junk. Okay? But I don't eat them because I don't buy them, because I don't like the way my tummy rises up on me, for example, and I gain weight and my clothes don't fit me. But with
Right.
regards to intermittent fasting, there's actually quite a bit of research that shows that even if you could skip one meal once in a while, that's intermittent fasting, you can get significant health benefits from just skipping breakfast, for example. Or you have breakfast, skip lunch. Or you
Right.
have breakfast and lunch and you skip dinner. Just giving your digestive tract a chance to rest. I tell you something, my husband is a night eater. He's up at night. I'm sleeping at 9:30. He's up at night doing whatever, music or whatever. And he's always picking. And most times he's picking unhealthy things because I don't buy junk.
Right.
And his tummy got so big, I would touch it and say, baby, you look like you're 6 months pregnant. You were 5 months last month, or you're 6. So since I started my Facebook health group called The Doctor Knew, I asked that our group stop eating by 7. That's one of our goals.
Okay.
Stop eating by 7. Have your heaviest meal earlier in the day, have a light snack in the evening, and then nothing to eat after 7. And so we decided that we would both take the challenge. And so he agreed. I kid you not. His tummy no longer looks like he's 6 months pregnant. Maybe a month. He's getting there.
Okay.
But significantly flatter than it was before. just by cutting out night eating, even healthy eating, even apple and peaches and whatever fruits and stuff. If we eat them at night, somehow they sit on our tummy and our tummy will get big. And a big tummy is not good. Okay, a big tummy puts a lot of stress on those organs that are right there in that tummy. Okay, a lot of our very important essential organs are in there. The liver is in there, the kidneys right there to the back, the pancreas is in there, the heart, the lungs are right there. And when we put on a lot of weight, it puts too much stress on these organs and can also lead to early death.
Yeah, we
So
don't want that.
so you can tell, you can kind of tell where a person is going in terms of their health based on the size of that girth, that tummy. But if you cut out eating at night, you will see a significant difference in the size of your tummy. You're gonna feel better. Your clothes are gonna fit you. Okay, let me give you a quick example. My dad, who I told you is 88 years old, he'll be 89 next month. He lives on his own. He cooks every day, cleans, does his own hand washing laundry, and puts his clothes on a line outside in Jamaica, does his own business, walks to the store and everything, and he'll be 89 next month. He's 100% sharp in his mind. He eats his dinner at 2 o'clock every single day. Every day. At 2 o'clock, he eats a heavy dinner. And then maybe about 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, he has a cup of tea and maybe a slice of bread, or a cup of tea and a couple of crackers. And that's it.
Right.
And that man is 89 years old, and the suit that he got married in, I think he got married at 28, the suit he wore for his wedding still fits him.
You know what? As you talk about suit that still fits, late last year, I think it was around about Thanksgiving, one of my segment sponsors, former military, and my massage therapist, she put on the uniform that she wore in the military some, let's see, 30 years ago. Maybe no, because she did banking for about 30 years. So a little bit more than probably what, 35. Oh, it was for Veterans Day. Okay, so now I know who 644 is. Either that or they pay attention. Okay, so put on the uniform and it fit. After 30 plus years, this uniform fit. 1985 was when she wore that uniform. And in 2020, put it on and it fit. And I watched her as she transitioned from when I first met her, some 10 years ago, to now. 10 years ago, she couldn't fit that uniform. 3 years ago, I don't think she could fit that uniform. And now she's in it. So, these things, the changing of the lifestyle. I say that to say this: the changing of the lifestyle, it does help. Exercising, changing your diet, changing the way you eat. I've seen where it actually works, and I'm even impressed by it. I must also say congratulations to my massage therapist on adding an accolade, adding another achievement to her portfolio. Big ups to you, Miss Althea. Thank you for and this is the segment that you're sponsoring too. I didn't even big up my segment sponsors, but I'll do it at the end of when we finish talking, just before musical therapy. But big ups to you. Congratulations, Althea. It's you who is not only my massage therapist, but is well, as soon as I can afford it, will be my personal trainer. Having been recently certified as a personal trainer. B-
Yay.
yes.
Awesome.
So it's good to have these people around you. You, a registered nurse, in of over 20 years and specializing in critical care. Dr. Jenny Stone, my chiropractor, and and here it is again, someone I can call friend. Althea SU, massage therapist and now personal trainer. And banker. So she's also good with financial advice.
Mhm.
So all these things, it kind of covers the complete individual. You money not right, it'll stress you out. Stress
Mhm.
will lead to high cortisol levels.
Mhm.
That leads to putting on weight and your body being in dis-ease.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you take care of that. You take care of how you eat and what you eat,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it also contributes to your mind being that much sharper.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so when certain things are happening to your in your body, you can be aware of it, and now you go to the doctor, you get your checkup, and you can say, okay, this is what has been happening, and doctor tell you XYZ, and I'm gonna write you a prescription for this, and then you'll actually have enough of a presence of mind to be able to ask, what is this for?
Mhm.
And you alluded to this earlier, that we are our best doctors. We can only be our best doctors when we know what a prescription is for when it is given to us, because of how our bodies may react to certain things and what our bodies have been doing up until this point.
Mhm. I remember, Kevin, when during my training in nursing school and or continuous education classes, etc., they
Yes.
would always say to us, if you bring a pill into the patient's room
Mm-hmm.
and they question that pill, that patient is wise enough to question that pill and, for example, say, okay, so you're telling me that pill is called metoprolol, for example, for my blood pressure.
Okay.
But I take metoprolol at home for my blood pressure, but it's a yellow pill. Why are you giving me a white pill, for
Mm.
example? They say you should not brush it off. You should consider that perhaps you do have the wrong pill for that patient.
Mm.
You should look into it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That is an informed patient. And one thing I want to say too is that when you are an informed patient, you go to your doctor and you have your notepad. You have all your questions written down
Yes.
so that you can ask your doctor these questions. Because believe me, a lot of them, while they're talking to you, they're heading to the door. But I
Mm.
always say to my friends and my family members, when you go to the doctor, you say, Dr. Brown, I have 3 questions for you. So I'm just asking you to give me a little time so I can ask you those questions. You're putting him or her on alert.
Okay.
Okay. But if you go unprepared, that will be the doctor whose back you will see while he or she is leaving you sitting or laying on that gurney. You must go prepared. You must go knowledgeable. That is why There's so much information out there. And by the way, you have to weed through a lot of that information because a lot of stuff you read also are nonsense. That's why you have to read and read and read and empower yourself. But you're your best doctor. You know your body best. You know what's going on inside of you. I remember when I was sick, they told me, my medical doctor told me that my sickness was in my head.
Mm.
And a nurse practitioner is the one who diagnosed me with cardiomyopathy with a heart function of 25 to 35%. And my doctor told me that the dizziness and the lightheadedness and the fainting spells and the lack of energy and the palpitation I was experiencing was in my head. And he promptly prescribed antidepressant for me, which I, like a fool, like a lamb to the slaughter, took.
Mm.
And that is one reason why I wrote my book. I want to tell people that you do not have to be like a lamb being led to the slaughter. You can speak up. You can take charge of your health. You are your best doctor. Nobody cares about you like yourself. And this is an informational age. There's no reason for any of us to go to a physician's office and they write a prescription and hand it to you and you don't question it.
Right. Funny you should say that. Here's a comment in the stew pot that just popped up. When I get a prescription from my doctor, I ask them to write, not scribble, so that I can research the medicine they prescribe. And she goes on to say, I cannot tell the last time I got a prescription filled that I received from an MD. Now, it's interesting that she put MD. I recently got new healthcare, and I had to choose a physician. And I asked for a DO versus an MD. Because I learned recently that one is a whole lot quicker to prescribe drugs than the other. One is a whole lot quicker to leave the room and move to the next patient than the other. So whenever I go to a doctor, considering that I am going to have questions to ask, I'd prefer it be one that is willing to sit and answer my questions and willing to explain why they're writing me a prescription. And even leaving that prescription to the last option as a last resort. Because there are other things to consider. So I went with a DO. Now, I haven't gone to see her yet. I think it's a her. I don't even remember the name. But don't hold that against me. But because everything hasn't been finalized with the health insurance yet. But that is where I am going. Because at the end of the day, I need to be aware, one, of what is going on with me, and I need to speak with someone that will listen. And that's one of the reasons I do this health show also. Because we have been, as we do with many other things, we have become sheeple. So an individual that like you said, is informed, now comes with an amount of power. And it is for us to recognize that we have this power. We have the power to ask questions and make informed decisions. When we don't have the informed decisions is when we lose out on maximizing our health benefits. Hey MJ, welcome. Listen, MJ, you're not missing out on a whole lot. You get to have her on Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. I take this pause to welcome my sister from another mister, MJ, jumping into the stew pot, and to give a shameless plug. Melissa Jane, this coming Thursday evening, will have Marva Riley, this same lady who is talking to us right now, on her broadcast on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and you don't want to miss it. It will be a different type of broadcast to this one. I guarantee you, it will be different. But you don't want to miss it. So if you're wondering how you can get in touch with that, go to my Facebook page, and you'll see it posted there. Or you can just go straight to Melissa Jane. Look for her Facebook page, and that's MILLISSAJAYNE. I've spelled it for you. I've told you where to go find it. You don't have to second guess and spell. If you forgot what it is, no worries. This show will be in the archive come tomorrow. You can go back to this segment, this section of the broadcast, and you can pause it and write down your information. Or you can just go now to Facebook, to DJ Kevin Stew. It's DJ-Kevin space Stew. And it'll be right there. One of the very most recent posts. I think that was probably the last post I made today. Could have been. So, it is there. All right. Cool. So, MJ, you didn't miss out on a whole lot. Yes, you did. But I won't hold it against you. 644 says MDs and DOs receive the exact training during medical school, the exact same training. So,
my experience with DOs,
yes,
because they've been around a while, but they were not recognized as MDs are recognized in the health field. Okay, but they are more so now. But my experience with DOs is that they usually look at you from a more holistic standpoint.
right.
So generally speaking, a medical doctor will come in, and if he or she is an infectious disease doctor, for example, he or she will just focus. That is it. They just focus on that. If that MD is a kidney doctor, they tend to just focus on the kidney. They just focus on their specialty. A
Right.
DO generally looks at the whole picture. Okay, that's been my experience with DOs. But there's a new category of physicians. There's some MDs and some DOs that are even branching out even more into a more holistic way of treating patients with nutrition. They get a whole team together. They will have psychologists and nutritionists on board, exercise physiologists, counselors, and all that treat the whole being. And those physicians use a holistic approach, and they generally aim at getting to the source
Yes.
of the problem, whereas MDs generally, now I'm generalizing now, they generally are band-aid people. They treat symptoms.
Right.
But this holistic movement now among physicians, like there's a physician called Dr. Joel Furman, who I met some years ago on public TV. And he introduced me to the concept of plant-based eating. Dr. Joel Furman has clinics over the United States and has written books and workshops and all of that.
Yes.
And about healing through nutrition. And there are others who they do all kind of diagnostic tests to see, for example, why it is that you're not sleeping. Could you be lacking in some nutrients? Okay. Could it be that you need to see a counselor, something that's on your mind? Are you
Right.
not getting enough sun? Is your vitamin D level low? Is your
Right.
magnesium level low? Okay, because a lot of times too, the blood test that is done to check your magnesium level is not very diagnostic. So they're using saliva and all kind of other sophisticated tools to check to see what is the cause of the problem that you're having. If you're constipated, they're not giving you stool softener and laxative. Why are you constipated? Is it that you're not eating enough of that raw salad that Kevin speaks about? Is it that you're not drinking enough water? Is it that you need to do some more exercise? Is it that you're eating too much starch, too much bread, too much crackers, and too much cookies because those things are constipating? So there's a movement, there's a group of doctors, and it is said that's the trend. That's where we're going.
Oh, so does that mean that we should have a little bit of a more healthy society?
We should, and I believe that is when you will see that big pharma will not be making the billions of dollars, because once people implement and incorporate healthy lives, doesn't mean perfect, but healthier lifestyle, healthier way of living, then we will be healthier. And then when we're healthier, we won't have need of drugs. And when we don't have need of drugs or have need of as much drugs, then big pharma will not be, they're going to have to figure out another way. I don't know what they'll come up with, but they're going to have to figure out another way to make their billions.
Okay.
Because I am convinced, personally, I am convinced. And if you look at the research of people like in the League of Dr. Furman, for example, who don't believe in drugs and all of that, most of the illnesses and diseases and disorders that we're experiencing, the heart disease, the cancer, are due to overweight and obesity. And overweight and obesity because of poor lifestyle, because of what we eat and what we don't eat,
Right.
or lack of exercise, insufficient sleep lead to overweight and obesity. The excess stress leads to overeating, which leads to overweight and obesity. Most of the illnesses, most of the premature deaths are due to poor lifestyle, which leads to overweight and obesity. So if we can reverse that, if we can get rid of that and be like, say, my dad, for example, who is 89 and fitting in the same clothes that fit him 50, 60 years ago, okay, or 644, and which can reverse these things, by the way, if we adopt healthy lifestyle. Because we're overweight doesn't mean we're doomed. We can do something about it.
Right.
And then we will put the likes of McDonald's and Burger King and all those businesses out of business, because we will no longer eat what they have brainwashed us into eating. We will eat to live.
And not live to eat.
And not live to eat. Our food, that's what's killing us. Americans, people in the United States of America, are the fattest people in the world. And we are the sickest people in the world. And we spend more money on healthcare, meaning drugs, meaning hospitals bills, because the doctors are not the ones that make the most money. The hospitals, most hospitals nowadays are for profit. And even if they claim they're not for profit, they are for profit. They operate to make money. Because
they're privately owned.
They're privately owned, and even the so-called publicly owned hospitals operate to make money. They operate under a non-profit umbrella, but if they're not making money, they can't stay, their doors can't stay open. But we are the most unhealthy people in the world, even though we are supposedly the wealthiest people. It's maddening to see young people in their 30s dying from COVID because they have pre-existing conditions of asthma and diabetes and heart disease. 30.
Yes.
Mom and dad dying and leaving their children to suffer because they were obese or overweight and had pre-existing conditions, and they go into a hospital where they are not given the best care because they're poor people. Because, by the way, rich people aren't fat.
This is true.
Rich people, by the way, fast. They don't live to eat. Rich people fast.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people aren't fat, and they don't eat nearly as much as we eat. And you're not gonna find a rich person in McDonald's and Popeyes. It just ain't happening.
All right.
They're
So
eating the best, and we, the poor people, are killing ourselves and our children too, because we begin feeding our kids this crap from birth. And like that formula that many people feed their babies that is loaded with sugar and gets those children addicted to sugar from a tender age and mess up their brain.
okay, so let me jump in here now and put on my conspiracy theorists cape, because I was told late last year, I was told about Thanksgiving that my name appeared on a list of conspiracy theorists. So let me go ahead and put on my conspiracy theory cape and be super conspiracy theory man. So here is my thinking, my thought process, and you can tell me how far off I am with this. You're mentioning some of the lifestyles and the things that we have been consuming that contribute to our ill health. The jobs that most of us have are sedentary jobs. So we're sitting around a lot. They're high stress jobs because outcome is important. We need to have results. Results equals inflow of cash. Mind you, this cash flow doesn't come down to the little people, but it is a requirement for us to keep our jobs, which are said to be what we need to have in order to maintain a good life. So the stress of that is on. Again, here we come back to stress, high cortisol levels. You with me thus far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Have I gone very far from your thinking so far?
No.
Okay, cool. So you might very well be a part of the conspiracy theorist group. So there's...
My book is an indication of that.
How dare you, misregistered nurse of in critical care, write a book like Eat, Sleep, and Meditate? How dare you? So here we are, when we're consuming foods that are rich in sugars and salts.
Who poisons?
A lot of carcinogens, yes. We have sedentary jobs. We leave our sedentary jobs and we are stressed in our commute. We're stressed with our children. We need to feed our families. We don't have the resources to be able to buy the more healthy meals and live in places where we have clean air. So we live in congested communities. At the corner of each of these congested communities is either a fast food restaurant or a corner store with readily available products for low prices. Because we already have minimal amounts of money, we can't buy the richer foods. So we end up buying what is more readily available. And it's interesting how fast food is so available. Just about every corner you go, you either have a corner store or a fast food restaurant.
It's intentional.
Okay, so clearly I'm not that far off with my thinking. So the wellness industry in the United States, as you have mentioned it, the objective of the business of wellness is to keep us sick so that our the symptoms of our ailments can be treated, not the cause, the symptom. That way, we feel comfortable. We get comfortable in our illness because the symptoms can be alleviated. How far off am I with this picture that I have been painting?
You're absolutely not far off. That's exactly what is going on. In fact, I recently was listening to a physician called Dr. Lustig. He is not a plant-based physician, but he's a research medical doctor, and he specializes in pediatric endocrinology. And he was talking about how the food, by the way, the food industry and the drug industry are regulated by the same agency. Okay, which absolutely makes no sense. That's because they're not intended to protect me and you. The FDA is the same agency that says it's okay to take Zantac, and years after pulls Zantac that it causes cancer. But guess what? Zantac is being sold in many parts of the world without any issue causing cancer in those parts of the world. But Dr. Lustig, when I was listening to him, he said his theory is that the food industry deliberately introduces sugar to children at a tender age so that they can get them hooked.
Right.
Okay? And a lot of times these children that are hooked on sugar, which will lead to hook and all the other junk, because almost every drunk has sugar in it.
High
It's
fructose
either
corn syrup.
loaded with sugar or it's loaded with salt. Two poisons. Added
Right.
sugar. Corn syrup. Okay. And so these children get addicted and they develop fat cells at a very young age, and it follows them into, by the time they get to 30 or more, or thereabout, they already have sicknesses that might not necessarily manifest itself fully at 30, but by the time they're 40 years old, they have high blood pressure, they have diabetes, they have high cholesterol, they have shortness of breath, and all those issues, because these poisons were introduced to them at a very young age in cereals. You ever go to a supermarket, they have a whole aisle filled with cereal.
Yes.
And there's no cereal other than probably oatmeal that you cook
Yeah.
that does not have tons of added sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what we're feeding our children. And this idea that eating healthier is more expensive, it's not necessarily so. Okay. What we need to do, for example, drink water. We should not be drinking juice. There's no juice that is juice unless we put that orange in the thing and squeeze it ourselves.
Right.
We shouldn't be drinking juice from supermarket. And sodas are not cheap. They're expensive stuff. Okay. Bread is not cheap. Bread is
Well, sodas are cheap. When you
So
going to
it's what?
walk into sodas are cheap. When you're going to walk into a corner store or a supermarket and you're
Well,
spending $1 and getting
for
a 2-liter
That's
soda,
true. That's true.
a
You're right
2-liter
about
soda.
that. You're
But
right,
then,
you're right.
but then to get a quart of fruit juice, you have to spend $4.
There's no such thing as no quart of fruit juice. Nothing. The only quart of fruit juice that you could ever have that's truly fruit juice is that juice, that fruit that you've juiced yourself. So you shouldn't be having that. I can understand water now. If you can, water is what we should be drinking, and a gallon of water is not that expensive.
No, it is not.
You can get it. You can get a gallon of water for $1.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of eating healthy, though, Kevin, when we pass that those fast food places, it's a matter of choice. It always boils down to choice. It's tempting, but we have to choose life.
Yes.
We have to choose life. You know, I mean, I would love to have an iPhone, but I don't have the money to buy an iPhone. So I have to choose. Am I going to credit an iPhone or I'm going to buy what I can afford to?
But
You
you're
know,
not you're not
I
in
like nice things.
you're not trending if you don't have the eye. What's come on, Nurse
So,
Riley.
yeah, well, that's it. You know what? Let me give you a quick story because I know we're winding down. In the nursing industry, it is a common thing, a common practice for Caribbean nurses in particular to have two jobs.
Yes.
Jamaicans, Haitians, oftentimes Filipino nurses too, and Indian nurses, they have two jobs. They have a full-time job, maybe another full-time job, a full-time, part-time job. Many of them drop dead.
Mm-hmm.
Or they work night and they run underneath a truck or something like that, chasing the mighty dollar,
Right.
so we can live and people think that we have money or we're better than or whatever the case might. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. You have to say, okay, I cannot afford to live in Parkland, so I'm not going to live in Parkland. I cannot afford an iPhone, so I'm not going to have an iPhone. What's my priority? My priority is to provide proper nutrition for my children. Am I going to have two jobs, or am I going to spend some time with my partner? Am I going to have two jobs, or am I going to spend time with my children?
Yes.
Am I going to have two jobs, or am I going to make sure I get adequate sleep at night? Because I find that if you work $60,000 a year or $30,000 a year, it's not so much the money, it's what you do with it.
Right.
So it's a matter really of choice. Now, we're talking about health. So I would say to our listeners, your health is your responsibility. When we look at COVID right now, we see how many people are dying in hospitals without their loved ones there with them. It ought to be a wake-up call for us. We've got to take better care of ourselves.
But all right, here it is, healthcare system again to the rescue. They have produced a vaccine to take care of that.
Oh my goodness.
Are you saying they have not?
Well, you know what? I don't believe. I'm one of those that you would call an anti-vaxxer. Okay, now I have become an anti-vaxxer. I wasn't always that way. The Marva you're here speaking now was not always the Marva that. This was not always my voice. But I don't believe in drugs. There's so many side effects from these drugs. Now tonight, somebody sent me a link about a young lady, a 30-year-old nurse who took the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, live, like they've been using the president-elect, his vice president-elect, this politician and that politician. They're taking this vaccine lives because they're trying to condition our minds to make us feel that it's okay, because a lot of people are on the fence.
Right.
They're trying to condition and say, oh, if Miss Harris took it, it must be okay. If Mr. Obama, my hero, takes it, it must be okay.
Right.
So
Right.
this nurse took the vaccine, and the story goes that she fainted and subsequently died an hour after. But when I did a little bit of research, I'm hearing all kinds of different stories online. So I'm not sure what to believe about it. But I'm not telling anybody to take it or not to take it. I know personally I'm not going to take it because I do know that your response, a person's response to COVID, will depend on the condition of your body.
All right.
I know of many people who contracted COVID virus and they didn't even know they had it because they had some mild symptom. And if they hadn't listened and heard that such and such is a symptom of COVID, they would probably have just thought that they had a cold or their sinus had flared up or something like that.
Right.
It depends on your immune system. That's how you will respond to COVID. And so you can start now by starting to take better care of yourself, eat healthier, exercise, get some sunlight, drink plenty of water, and work on your stress level and get some sleep. and that will help to start conditioning your body, so your body will be better prepared to deal with any pandemic, whether it's COVID or whichever, because pandemics are always coming and going for
All right.
years, hundreds and thousands of years. They will always be around.
So,
How will my body respond to it? Is my body ready?
Marva, you you touched on something that I tend to toss out there from time to time. You said you know people that have gotten the virus and nothing has shown. It depends on how conditioned your body is. Before we touched on the COVID thing, we were talking about lifestyles and diets and what our current trend has led us to. The dis-ease in our society. Now we're all typically the family is unhealthy because the child grew up on formula, fast food restaurants. The diet from a fast food restaurant is a part of their regular life. They're stressed out, so everything points to an unhealthy society. If there is such a virus that comes around that can affect multiple people adversely, as has been reported with COVID. Now, people are dying not because they have contracted COVID, but because of underlying conditions. You mentioned it yourself. Underlying conditions when they contracted COVID. So now they're dying. And then the report is they're dying from COVID. Here comes the vaccine. To do what? This has been my question. This vaccine is to do what? And then people haven't been taking the time out to figure out, okay, so what exactly is COVID? What type of virus is this? And it's just like when they came out with the flu vaccine. Take the flu vaccine. You need to take the flu vaccine and you need to take it every year. Why do I need to take a vaccine every year? All the other vaccines I've taken in my early life has given me the protection I needed to take me through life. If anything, I needed one booster. Why do I need to take a vaccine every year? Because it is useless.
But you know what? Some people will challenge you on that, because
I'll take it.
I'm sure you've heard of the placebo effect.
Mm-hmm.
People, I think if many of the people who will tell you that the flu vaccine has helped to protect them from getting the flu, if they were given an injection of water,
Mm-hmm.
they would never have gotten the vaccine, because they believe that they would never have gotten the flu because they believe that it's the vaccine
The vaccine that they
protected
got.
them
Yes.
from getting the flu.
Yes.
Placebo effect.
Yes.
Okay. But I believe vaccines are it is a big money maker. All over the world, they're demanding flu vaccines now. I know when I was in Jamaica a couple of years ago, my niece had just finished nursing school and she said it's mandatory. You don't even have a choice. At least here you can decline it.
Okay. I said this very early in 2020. I said this. You create an issue, you create a problem, and when you have the solution to the problem, so you create the problem, you have the solution to the problem, and I'm sorry, caller. Um, okay, Marva, I do apologize. Caller, I'm going to set this up so you can call back. Just one moment. I do apologize. So you create the problem while you have the solution to the problem. And then you present the solution and you become the hero. Now, I also
like
said,
politics to me.
yes, I also said, if you create enough hysteria, then people will be begging They'll be begging you for a solution.
Mhm.
So, what do we end up with? We end up with people begging for the vaccine.
Mhm.
And we see this happening right now. People are begging. They're like, okay, so when do we get the vaccine?
Mhm.
And the it is not proven to work. But yet still you have now they have given the vaccine to certain groups. So now it seems like okay, now it is elite. Everybody wants to be in the elite group. So now everybody is begging for it.
Mhm. That's the very reason why they had Vice President elect Biden and Miss Harris and Mr. Obama and Mr. Clinton, all these people take it in public so the world can see,
Yes.
so that they can condition
Hello.
or us to thinking that it's the right thing to do. I think your caller just came
Yes.
in.
Yeah, I just brought in a call. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. I was trying not to call in and put my 2 cents in,
But you just
but you
couldn't
got
help it. It was burning your
no,
pocket.
no. You all went somewhere that I was like, please, 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 let them just steer away from that. But because I'm going to put it out there because I am transparent. I have nothing to hide from anybody.
Hmm.
I was apparently exposed to someone who tested positive. I went, I got tested. Results say that I'm positive.
Okay.
Okay, so 17, 23, 25 days later, I have yet to exhibit one symptom
So you
of a list of whatever they say that if you have COVID, this is what you need. This is what's going to happen to you.
so you've been positive for 25 days.
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to change after 14?
Oh, some of them say 7, some of them say 10.
Although I think last week or the week before, one of my listeners commented and said that they had been positive since about March of last year.
Okay, well, I guess I'm right on her short tail now. I don't live alone. I'm not a recluse. Everybody in my home has tested negative.
Well, it's just you.
Yeah, do you know what? I heard that my whole
I'm
life. The
sorry.
fingers point is you,
It's just
okay?
you.
But I'm not exhibiting any symptoms because I have changed my lifestyle. Thank you, Nurse Marva Riley. I changed my lifestyle. I drink my water. I exercise. I eat healthy. Well, the sleeping thing, I'm still working on that. But the intermittent fasting, I'm doing that. I am doing, I don't go to McDonald's and I don't supersize my lunch. I try to eat
You do portion sizes.
my one big meal that I have for the day.
Yes.
Yes, because I don't eat. I don't live to eat. I eat to live.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. I
Right.
know that I need water because my body is, oh Lord Jesus, Marva, please correct me if I'm wrong, but is it 75 or 80% of our body is water? So why would I not put in my body
Mhm.
what it is primarily made up of so that
Mm-hmm.
it will function
At its
at its
optimum.
capacity? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
I am outside in the sun. I sit in the sun. Oh, and you know what people tell me? Oh, you're going to get skin cancer. Why?
Well,
because I
that's
because
what
I
they
go sit
say.
in the sun to get my natural vitamin D, so I don't have to pop a pill.
Well, that's what they say. They say you spend too much time in the sun, you'll get skin cancer. However, black people
Well,
need to spend twice as much time, at least twice as much time in the sun as white people because the melanin in our skin it makes absorption of vitamin D from the sun that much harder.
see, I didn't even know that. See, I just learned something new tonight. I just know that I like how my body feels when I'm outside and I'm getting the natural sunlight. And
Yeah, and once you're doing that, you need to do it at before the noonday
be,
sun.
right between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. is what I'm told that
Yeah, you want to stay out
the
of the sun at those
yeah, the
times.
supposedly, and I'm doing the air quotes, the supposedly damaging rays to your skin are at its worst.
However, if you go to the beach on during those hours, you're not so bad.
Well, you know what? I don't have to go to the beach. I go sit in my backyard on my rocking chair in the sun, and I just sit back there and I just chill, and I'm like, oh my God, I get so much energy because I work from home sometimes, and when I'm sitting at my computer and my brain gets clogged and foggy and whatever, I get up, I go outside, I sit in my rocking chair for 15 minutes, I go back to my desk, and the next thing I know, that thing that was taking me 2.5 hours to focus on and to finish
Yes.
within 15 minutes, I'm going to say a half an hour, oh, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, and again, it is not just one thing that you're doing that is contributing to
No.
the
The
relief
lifestyle.
from the
There's
dis-ease.
not just one thing about me. It's my entire lifestyle that I had to go in and say, you know what? I want to be around to spoil my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple other people in my life that I have not caused enough. I haven't tortured enough. I need
you,
to stay around
you need to get it in.
and yeah. I'm not going. They are not taking me out like this.
So for you, the whole lifestyle change has been the thing that you needed to do to be better at your job and to just get up in the morning and feel better about yourself.
And I'm not even going to put that job thing in there. The lifestyle change I had to do in order to live, in order to survive,
Yeah.
in order to be here for me and for those who are depending on me.
I depend on you.
See? My work here is done. Thank you so much for allowing me to just sneak in at the last minute to do this, but I was trying to bite my tongue, and I didn't want to wake up in the morning with a piece of my tongue missing. So
Okay.
I had to just call in and just like let it out. So
Okay.
thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you all for listening. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you. See, people would hear me talking. They probably hear you talking, and they're saying, you know what? She's just trying to sell her book. He's just trying to get people to listen to his show, whatever. You don't have to believe anything I say. Marva has her book, Eat, Sleep, Meditate. It's in print. You can order it. And then what you can do, here's my challenge to you. Refute anything that she has in that book. Find information that is contrary to that information that she has in that book. That anything that debunks anything that she has in that book, you present it. But of course, you have to read the book in order to be able to do that. So, You do your part and question her, challenge her. She didn't put the challenge out there. I did, but you don't hear her disputing it. See, she's willing to take it on, right, Marva?
Hmm.
See?
I would go even farther. I would say, because the thing is that I actually wrote this book not to make money. The book is $10, $9.99. You don't make money from selling a book for that. I price a book so that it could be affordable for anyone.
Right.
And the electronic book is actually $4.99.
Mm.
But I wrote this book because I realized that folks don't know what healthy lifestyle looks like. They
Right.
don't know how to live healthy. They don't know what holistic living it looks like.
Right.
And I needed to share my story of being deathly ill to now enjoying a full and vibrant life. At my age, I'm 58 years old and I have no health issues.
There you
I
go.
needed to get that out. I would challenge anyone, pick up a copy of my book, implement the very simple, but I know very effective and very simple tips. And you will see the result. Because it's not drugs. It's nothing far-fetched. It's teaching you how to eat properly. It's teaching you that exercise, walking, is your best medicine. It's getting sunlight that our parents always got because they walked everywhere.
Yeah.
It's drinking clean, pure water. And it's turning off that TV and that internet and that phone and going to sleep.
Yes.
That's it.
As simple as that.
You will enjoy a much more fulfilling and healthy and joyous life. And who doesn't want that?
Right.
There are so many, like right now in January, there's so many companies that are selling that watchers and the other watchers and that program and the other program for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. They even have pills that suppress people's appetite. Every time you pop one of that pill is $10. I'm talking about a book that give you guidance and some simple steps that you can implement so you can enjoy, you can feel good again and look good. And when you look in the mirror, you like what you see.
Right.
Because it is possible. And you know what? It's your body. You've got to take care of it.
True that.
And the healthcare industry doesn't want you to be well. They want you to be sick because you've got to pay that insurance copay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to.
You got to buy those drugs.
And you got to buy those drugs. You've got to. That's how they make money. And you've got to eat that fast food. And you've got to go to that supermarket and buy the junk.
Yeah. How can people get your book, Marva?
My book is called Eat, Sleep, Meditate, A Nurse's Guide to Health. It's written by me, Marva Riley. I've been a registered nurse for over 22 years. My book is available on my website, rnmarvariley.com. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Barnes & Noble and even Walmart. And any bookstore you go into, they'll order it for you.
You know
if
what?
They don't have it.
Don't even mention the other places. rnmarvariley.com.
Yes.
That's the only place you need to mention.
Okay, sir. And you know what? On that website, I do some blogs and I also give some tips to help you on your health journey. You've got to take charge of your health now.
Yes.
It's your responsibility. You've got to do it.
And you do have a social media group also.
Yes, I have a Facebook personal group page. I have a Facebook group called the Doctor in You.
That's a public group?
That's a public group. Yes, we don't deny anyone.
Okay.
And we have I think right now over 400 people, and we just started like 3 months ago.
There we go.
It's fun, and we learn a lot, and we help to support each other. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Parler, and now I just started on TikTok.
Look at you.
Yeah, trying to get the message of. I tell my sister that God has placed me here to preach the good news of health.
Yes.
Because I want to tell people that they can be healthy. You don't have to live with diseases and sicknesses all your life and having one foot in the grave and one out and never feeling good. You don't have to live that way. You just need to make some simple changes to your daily lifestyle. And also, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not going to happen by March or April. Mm-hmm. But small steps become big steps. Start now.
Right. Marva, I thank you. I thank you for kicking off 2021 with good health, starting us off on the right foot. I look forward to your broadcast this coming Thursday with Melissa Jane. And I will do my best to pop in and say hi to you guys as you do your broadcast on Thursday on the Melissa Jane Show. So looking forward to that. That will be on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So people, all those listening in, you can follow me. Follow the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew, and you'll see the post there also. It will be on the show page on Facebook. On Facebook. Those of you that follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, it will eventually get there. But definitely on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew on Facebook, you'll find it there. But you can also follow Melissa Jane, and you'll see the post there. So catch Marva on Thursday with Melissa Jane. Marva, thank you very much for starting off the Healthy Love on the Night Shift with the DJ Kevin Stew for 2021.
And I thank you, Kevin, for having me. And I thank your listeners for tuning in. Take care of your health.
Definitely. Thank you much. Take care. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later. So Marva said it. We got to keep moving. The Facebook page is called The Doctor in You. 644 says, I placed an order for multiple books to give as gifts.
Like a flood, give praise to the Most High, and
now that is love. So on a novelty, the track is called Keep It Moving. I want to thank my segment sponsors, Pulsey Media Group, and Being in a Moment is priceless. Give them a call for innovative streaming and recording solutions. They do everything you see right here on kevinstew.com and more, providing streaming services for your live event. Or if you want to take it a step further, you can have your own internet TV station. Just give them a call, 754-999-6020, or check them out at pulseemg.com. Thank you to Althea SU for sponsoring, also providing her healing heavenly hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist over 2 decades, or just about 2 decades. She comes to you, brings her table, has her oils, and of course her healing heavenly hands. Give her a call, 954-655-9000, or email her at thealater@att.net. Congratulations to Althea on also becoming a licensed, or should I say a certified personal trainer. So she can help to keep you moving and then massage your aching muscles when you start moving. Thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. They provide tour management services, publishing, trademarks, business registration, music production, marketing and production, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034, or visit them online, reggaeglobalentertainment.com.
so
And thank you to GMAT Music Solutions, bringing your events to life, providing sound, light and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians and singers, and much, much more. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC, that's 754-307-4622. Or you can visit them online, gmatmusicsolutions.com. Thank you to all my segment sponsors. Thank you to all the listeners. I'm back here tomorrow, 10 till midnight Eastern Time, kevinstew.com and affiliates. Remember, I'm joined by AJ Brown, lead singer of Third World, and his wife, Tamara Brown. As we keep it moving and keep it grooving, like G. Cole would say.
5919 says.
This is the sound of Novelty. The track is called Keep It Moving.
Right, 1, 2,
This is where I bounce on out of here.
3, 4, keep it moving.
Move towards my bed.
With a positive flow.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world, from right here in South Florida. A really cool South Florida. I bid you good night. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.